What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. We're back once again for career mode, episode number 16 for, what Grand Prix is this? The US Grand Prix. Typically a circuit which has been really weird for me lately. The last few years, the AI just OP, tire temperatures, and weird grip levels have meant that this is a bit of a patchy Grand Prix. But hopefully, we can turn our fortunes around. You never know. This is the first time we're coming to this circuit on this game. Hopefully, it's a little bit better, especially since the car is, well, quite honestly, pretty crap. It shouldn't be going fast enough to overheat the tires, so we'll wait and see how it goes. But yeah, if you're new to the series, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the F1 2021 videos, and make sure you leave a like if you enjoy this series. In terms of upgrades, you've got 1,000 resource points to spend. We are going to, well, I want to do a drag reduction upgrade. We're going to have to wait a couple of days, literally just a couple of days, for the front downforce upgrade to go on. And then we can target drag reduction. But for the time being, we're going to target chassis. And more specifically, we're going to do weight reduction for cable assembly, 600 resource points. That won't go on in time for the US Grand Prix, unfortunately. I think we're probably going to have to work on our build time, to be honest, because a lot of our upgrades take bloody ages to come in. So, Season 2 will hopefully turn that around. So, yeah, I look forward to that. Anyway, resources-wise, what I'm trying to say is facility-wise, I'd like to get durability to spec level 1, and the best way to do that is do resource point generation. Because I don't really care about the rest of the stuff. If we can get extra resource points, then, hey, that's a bonus. Someone in, I think, the last video raised a good point. If we want to sign a good driver, we want to make sure that all of our facilities are Spec 1. Because you never know, it might be one of those prerequisites for signing, say, Daniel Ricciardo to, yeah, to get him on board. He might want Spec 1 durability. And I don't blame him. Based on the current reliability we've had with this car. Anyway, another problem with Marduk Motorsport. Let's see what it is.
How do you want us to deal with this one?
So, we want to test an initiative to improve staff morale by reducing work hours, but it's going to cost 750 resource points. No. Get in the bin.
You handled that well. Thank you.
Yeah, I am not throwing 750 resource points down the bin just for a little bit better morale. It's not worth that much. Anyway, what can we do? We've got a little bit more resource points to spend. Unfortunately, we can't do anything durability-wise because the department capacity has been reached. So we're just going to save those extra points for the next episode. And, yeah, hopefully make things a little bit better in the back end of the season. Look at Dan Ticktum's stats. We've improved his focus and his pace stat for this weekend specifically. So hopefully he can be on the money somewhat. We have had a couple of upgrades as well come into the car. A front downforce upgrade, rear downforce upgrade, and there might have even been a chassis upgrade going in time for this race. Now, when I was recording this, I thought there was going to be a regulation change because we're looking over there. But it turns out it was just my controller. I dropped it on the floor and the joystick was looking over in the right-hand corner. So that was funny. Anyway, yeah, weight redistribution was the other upgrade that's gone on the car. So 3 decent upgrades going on for this race. Sees a massive uptake in performance on the performance index. And we haven't overtaken Alfa Romeo again. But we are very, very close to doing so. And look at all those provisional upgrades in progress as well, by the way. So, yeah, nearly overtaking Alfa Romeo. We are getting very close to Alfa Tauri as well, which is, yeah, positive signs for the back end of Season 1. Dan Ticktum leads the way in practice. Still 3.1 seconds away from the pace, which is a little concerning, I'm not going to lie. But, yeah, that was practice, one and done. Unfortunately, Dan contributed nothing, absolutely nothing to practice in terms of resource points. So, yeah, we really need to work on that. We need to get him some experience. So that's, again, something we'll have to spend in the facilities. But we're getting towards the back end of the season. We're probably going to have to start saving budget for our second driver. So I'm not sure we'll get it in time. All right, here we go for qualifying for the US Grand Prix here in Cota. Sun is absolutely blinding in this qualifying session, as always. I don't know what it is about this qualifying session, but every year you come into the last couple of corners and you absolutely can't see where you're going. It's not so bad today because it's a little bit cloudy, but otherwise we're doing okay. 3.2 seconds off the pace, down in P21 at this stage. Our qualifying form has been pretty good as of late. We've been getting ourselves out of Q1 the last couple of attempts, but this time might be a little bit more tricky to do so. How's this second lap doing? It looks a lot better as we run through Sector 1. We're 3.5, no, make that 4, maybe 5 tenths up as we get towards the second half of the lap. And yeah, turns out the first lap was a bit rubbish, but from my memory, the track just gripped up so much more from the start of the session, even to 5 minutes to go. It was like a completely different circuit. I think the cloud cover really helped because it cooled out the circuit and we were able to have so much more grip. I've even made 1 or 2 minor mistakes over the course of the lap, but we're still absolutely flying. Out of the last corner and up to the line. What are we going to get here in qualifying? It is P16. That is safety for now. But look at the margin to Antonio Giovinazzi. That's 4 tenths. That is pretty sizable, and given the margin, I'm probably, yeah, in fact, I am going to bank that time. I'm going to chance it and see if the AI can beat me. I want to save a fresh set of tires for Q2, and hopefully we'll be able to squeeze through. But we're watching our teammate here, Dan Ticktum, seeing how he's getting on with his slightly better focus lately. He's been getting happier and happier over the course of the year, and his pace is a little bit better in this race as well. We come to the end of the screen. We didn't get to see his lap in completion, but he does improve, and he beats us. He knocks us out in Q1. So there we go. Dan Ticktum. It's taken a couple of races, but he has finally arrived here in Marduk Motorsport. He's beaten us by 0.05 of a second. Fair play, mate. You know what? I've got to sit back and applaud that. I'm like a proud father here, seeing my teammate prosper. There we go. Dan is through to the next session. Hopefully he can kick on and do even more in Q2, but I'm not sure that the car is there, to be honest. The car is maybe as good as it's ever been relative to everyone else on the field, but over the course of one lap, we don't seem to be there quite yet. The race is where we're more competitive with our race strategies, with our tyre wear, and our racecraft, to be honest. So let's hope, once again, points are on the horizon.
Welcome once again, then, to the United States Grand Prix here in the magnificent city of Austin. It was here in 2018 that Kimi Räikkönen delighted the world by winning for the first time in 114 races. There's always a record to be broken, so what, I wonder, is in store for us today? It's the Circuit of the Americas then, situated 14 miles outside the great city of Austin. This is the 3.6-mile lap with 20 corners, 10 each to the left and to the right, and top speeds of around 200 miles per hour. Overtaking opportunities are available into turns 1 and 12, especially with that rear wing DRS wide open. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's have a chat about McLaren. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, and Norris, Stroll, Räikkönen, Tsunoda, and Daniel Ricciardo. Vettel, they've taken a grid penalty. Benjamin, George Russell and Perez, Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, Nikita Mazepin and Nicholas Latifi, Gasly, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Ocon, Tictum, and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Oh my god. I forgot how bad the grid penalties are at the end of Season 1. More grid penalties than you can poke a stick at. We're starting P12 on the grid. That is mad. Unfortunately, Mr. Daniel Tictum has his best qualifying all year. What do you know? He's changing engine components. So he's starting from P21. Can this guy get some luck for a change? But, yeah, there we go. P12 on the grid for us. I think we're a good chance of getting some points now because of that. It's such a jumbled order. So many fast cars starting towards the back. Some not so fast cars in the midfield. Me and Raikkonen are joined at the hip once again. I think he's starting from P11 or something like that. So, yeah, there's definitely some beatable guys inside the top 10. And with the chance of a one-stop, soft to medium being on the cards, we might be on for a mad strategy. Looks like two-stop is faster, but if we can park the bus with the two softer compounds, then anything is possible. Lights out, and away we go for the US Grand Prix. Raikkonen starting in P8. My apologies. Okay, start as we head down into turn 1. We can grab a few more places. We get Tsunoda, who's caught napping a little bit there, but he gets us on exit. We're going to try and hold it around the outside into the middle sector, but nothing quite doing on this occasion. P10 already in this US Grand Prix. Someone's got damage up the road. It is Valtteri Bottas, as I completely lose it on the curb there, under brakes, trying to avoid Tsunoda. It's still side by side. We do get the job done, and I think now we're up into P9. There's the damage for Valtteri Bottas. I'm not sure what happened there with him. I'll have to grab a replay of that at some point, but yeah, he's holding up this massive train of cars. Allows us to go round the outside of Mr. Kimi Raikkonen, the retiree at the end of this season. And I think he should maybe consider that retirement plan because he is absolutely carrying Alfa Romeo on his back right now. Dive bomb up the inside of Stroll. I think he made contact actually and might potentially have some front wing damage. Looks okay to me as we slide on through for P8 in this race. But yeah, we're consistently beating Giovinazzi. We're consistently almost out-qualifying him now. It's Raikkonen who is literally carrying Alfa Romeo on his back. They're going to be a much weaker team next season if they don't improve their actual car. As we get up the inside of Lando Norris into the second last corner. Bottas now pits finally, but both the Ferraris opting to do nothing, and we're just happy to lose 5, 6, 7 seconds to the likes of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton up front. They are now in a two-horse race in this Grand Prix. It's actually pretty realistic. That is the gap to the rest of the field, pretty much, in real life. Anyway, yeah, it's P5 for us. Getting nosebleeds up here, but it's not going to last too long. With Lando Norris sat behind us in the McLaren, we know the McLaren is absolutely ridiculous in terms of straight line speed prowess. Once that DRS gets enabled, which will be after this corner, will be a bit of a sitting duck. So, yeah, we'll see if we can run with Norris or Stroll. Stroll is actually in a faster car than the McLaren. We get our first warning of the Grand Prix. That is a little too early for my liking, since it's so easy to get warnings and stuff with the nature of the circuit, having to use the curbs so much. There goes Stroll around our outside. Lando gets us pretty easily as well. He's going to have the inside for the next right-hander. But in the end, he backs out of it. So we're going to hold on to P6 for the time being. And hopefully, we can stay in the slipstream of Mr. Lando Norris. Looks like he's already dropping us, but we are going to get DRS on this straight. Not a great exit for us there. DRS or not, you can't be taking the last corner like that. You're just going to get gobbled up every single day of the week. There goes Stroll, easy as you like. And now we're down to P7 in this Grand Prix. And kind of left to fight it out with similar drivers and similar cars of equal caliber, I'd say. The AlphaTauri and the Alfa Romeo are very similarly matched to us in terms of pace. But Raikkonen making very easy work of us there on the straight with DRS. We try and find it around the outside, but I think at this point in the Grand Prix...
Okay, if we continue to use fuel at this rate, then we won't have enough to reach the end of the race.
Oh dear. We, okay, yeah, we underfueled the car. That's not news to me. But what is concerning is we're not recovering any fuel. It's slightly getting worse as the race wears on. So, this has been a difference to the last few Grand Prix that we've had, as we're now getting mobbed by Raikkonen. We're also struggling with tyre temps, I think, because we were fine in the early laps, but I think these softs are really starting to overheat, particularly as we get to the end of the first sector. All those high-speed curbs really, they really add up. They take a toll on the old front left tyre. So, yeah, we're struggling at this point for tyres, but also fuel as well. This is going to be a tricky Grand Prix if we're to get anything out of it. As we can see, we're trying to still fight away with Raikkonen. We are winning for the time being, but we're getting nowhere in terms of progression in this race. We're getting dropped by the top 6. Didn't expect to be staying with the top 6 anyway, but if we can stay in the points, then that's half the battle. But we've got to be saving fuel. We're now nearing being one whole lap down in terms of fuel, so we're going to have to start lifting and coasting. As you can see, we go for a massive gap there between Raikkonen and Tsunoda. Raikkonen moving over in the braking zone, or not really, but moving over on us, and broke slightly early. I panicked and kind of cut off Tsunoda, but looks like he got the position anyway. He didn't get any front wing damage, and if anything, he's actually benefited out of that because he got past Raikkonen as well. So no love lost there between myself and Tsunoda. Here comes Vettel round the outside into the second last corner, and here I'm just checking the temps because this just feels ridiculous. That Aston Martin really dancing around us like we're not even there pretty much. But in the end, Vettel lost a position to Alonso, and now Alonso is all over me and doing the same thing. So much overspeed as we head into the second last corner. So don't know what it is. I don't know what I know what we're lacking, but I don't know what it is that I can do to really remedy it. We're really struggling, almost like we're almost going to lose the back end as we go through the third to last corner, the very fast triple right-hander. And as such, we're just struggling for grip at that part of the circuit. Then when we get to this part, after the S's, we're decently fast at the S's, believe it or not. The change of direction is pretty good. But then we get to here, and the car's like, no, I don't really fancy turning the corners anymore. So that turns out to be a problem. But through all this, we're really struggling to recover the fuel. We're going to have to hope for a safety car at some point that's going to bail us out. Race leaders are in now on their soft compound tyres. They've all stretched an extra few laps than what I was prescribed to come in on the 2-stop. I was meant to come in around lap 7, 8, 9. But here we are, lap 10, and we're still going relatively strong, I guess. As you can see, fighting away with Sergio Perez at this point. Marduk Motorsport versus Red Bull. Red Bull is going to win every time. But somehow we managed to keep him at bay for the time being. We're into the pit lane now at the end of lap 10. And we are going to chance it now on medium compound tyres. You can see some people are actually boxing for hards. But I've got to say, they're playing it a bit safe. The likes of the McLarens, the Alfa Romeos. Someone's on mediums, that is Valtteri Bottas. He's on a 2-stop. But no one else around us on a 1-stop is opting for the mediums.
One more stop today. One stop
Very, very interesting. The only other person who is on mediums on a 1-stop is my teammate, Dan Ticktum. There he is. He stopped about a lap or 2 ago. And for the first time in forever, our teammate is running a good strategy as we're checking up on Raikkonen and what his status is at this stage. He's going a bit slow at this point, but I think it's just down to the hard compound tyres. He's got no low-speed mechanical grip. He's got no rotation, he's got no traction, and so we make very easy work of him there. Up in a P10, bit of a mistake as we get the job done. Get my words out, but now we have an Alpine that is retiring from the race. Unfortunately, it's not Alonso who is ahead of us. It is Esteban Ocon, our rival, no less. So, yeah, that's handy for the old rivalry, but not handy in terms of this race because there was no safety car. So, we're really going to have to start saving fuel now, guys, if we are actually to finish this race. You can see we're still down by 8.6 of a lap. We've literally gone nowhere in terms of fuel consumption. So, with the Codemaster's taking away the engine modes. We're going to have to start lifting and coasting. And the big one is here. Look at that. We're lifting about 100 meters, maybe more, before the braking zone, heading into that straight. So we're pretty much going to have to do this for the rest of the race if we're to get home by this logic. Every time we do a massive lift and coast like that, we save 0.05 of fuel. So yeah, we've got to keep this up. And thankfully we're in the DRS now of Sonoda, who's giving us a little bit of extra top-end speed and is keeping us at arm's reach from Sergio Perez. So watch here on the back straight. We didn't actually get a good exit out of the last corner, by the way, from memory. We lift off massively, but still Sergio is unable to attack heading into the braking zone. We're very lucky, if anything, that we're being attacked by a Red Bull, which doesn't have the greatest straight line speed in this game. I'm sure that'll get rectified in a performance patch at some point. But yeah, Sergio's not fast enough in the right areas, and as such, he's backing up Bottas, who's backing up one of the Aston Martin, sorry. And yeah, it's keeping us in this position for now. We've got 4 laps to go. We've managed to save half a lap's worth of fuel, and we've got to do quite a bit more. So we're going to have to start lifting and coasting in more areas. We have been doing that over the last few laps. We've been lifting and coasting into turn 1, but also into sector 1. We're going to have to use a little bit less throttle if possible. There goes Sergio up the inside this time, so he's getting closer, is he, in this Grand Prix, but somehow we've still got the traction. We've still got the pace in these tyres, in these mediums. They're holding on very, very well. So without the fuel issues, we'd be able to overtake Sonoda. We might have even been able to cling onto the DRS of Alonso, but yeah, we really muffed up the strategy, I guess. Really underestimated the fuel consumption of this track. It's a bit weird because usually the fuel consumption is pretty similar across the board. We can get away with underfueling the car. There goes Bottas. He's out of the Grand Prix with an engine failure. That is going to help us in finishing in the points. Unfortunately, no VSC, no safety car either. So, yeah, we're still going to have to nurse this home to the end under green flag running. But here comes Sergio Perez. We've now lost DRS to Yuki Tsunoda. We've got 2 laps to go in this race, and the task just becomes that a little bit more difficult, trying to keep him at bay. He goes on the inside there. What is he doing? I mean, I know what he's doing. He's trying to get past in unconventional areas. We do a massive lift into this corner. We're going to have to lift really aggressively now to get to the end. I was hoping that by lifting there, I was going to get DRS on this straight, but unfortunately, that's not worked. We've thrown away that position, and we're probably going to lose this one to Stroll because he's got so much straight line speed. We do a massive lift, and we are, yeah, we're very, very close now to getting to the end of the Grand Prix now. We just have to defend from Pierre Gasly, and this is for the final points-paying position in this race. Last lap of the Grand Prix, down into turn 1. Lifting and coasting here. We forced him to go around the outside. We had the better traction, but Ricciardo sneaks on through for P11. And that's the last thing I want, because that McLaren, as we know, is so fast in a straight line. It's probably the only car that's faster than us in a straight line. So trying to keep a hold of a point has just become that much more difficult. We're going to try actively to break the slipstream, to break the toe from Daniel Ricciardo. We are going to have to lift a little bit into this braking zone just to get to the end of the Grand Prix. Here comes Ricciardo around the outside.
The tank is empty.
But no, can't get us. And we're going to hold on, maybe, to this singular point. We've had to save a whole lap's worth of fuel with no lean mix, no safety car, no VSC. We've been piggybacking the slipstream and DRS off of Yuki Tsunoda for the last half of Grand Prix. And it looks like we might just about get to the end. You can see the fuel is dipping back into the negative again. We're going to have to lift and coast into the last corner potentially. But up to the line, it's going to be a bit of a drag race between ourselves and Daniel Ricciardo. Nice exit there, and we are going to get a point.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
That's it then for another magnificent United States Grand Prix, and they've hung on to take a sublime victory here today. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Boom. Points. Once again in this career mode series. I think that's our 5th or 6th race where we got some points. And it actually could have been so much more if we didn't stuff up the strategy. You know, we have done the same thing we've done just about every Grand Prix, and that's take about a lap's worth of fuel out. But for whatever reason, the fuel burn here was a lot higher than at other tracks, so it really stuck us in the mud. Could have been P7 for us. Honestly, the pace was awesome. It wasn't so strong on the softs as we got deeper into that first stint. But I tell you what, the mediums, the car felt great, and I wasn't struggling for tyre temps, so I was able to hold on against pretty fast cars, the Alpines, the AlphaTauris. We kept Sergio Perez behind us for so long, despite saving fuel. Yes, we had slipstream and DRS, but still, the pace was actually awesome. So, yeah, very, very encouraged by what we were able to get out of this Grand Prix. P10, 1 point. Dan moved up a couple of positions, but it's going to be so tough for an AI in this car to really do anything when you're starting from the back pretty much. So hopefully at some point Dan will be able to show what he can do, what talent he has. This was a good chance for him with the car improving. But yeah, we'll try again. The car is only going to get better. We do have some big boy upgrades on the way for a race or two's time. So I'd love to see him get a point or two. But he's really got to make these chances work. Hopefully that's the last time he'll take an engine penalty. That's for sure. Marduk Motorsport, we're improving. We're getting there. Season 2 with some big boy facility upgrades with the end of season bonus. That's going to be the big thing. Giving us the budget to upgrade the facilities. And also maybe target a better driver. Let me know what your opinion is on that. Because if we are going to get someone decent, someone who's got a lot of experience, someone who's got good pace to bring in the points and the resource points, then yeah, we're gonna have to start setting aside some budget now for him, because the game's weird. It doesn't let you spend your budget for your second driver next season. They make you buy it before the end of the season, which is a bit weird. Anyway, that's it from today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this pretty frantic US Grand Prix. Wasn't expecting much out of this Grand Prix, but at least we have something to show for our efforts. Also, F's in chat for Valtteri Bottas. Anyway, that's it from me today. Until the next one, guys. I'll see you next time.